This is the most scared I've been to do one of these franchise ranking lists because I have some pretty different opinions than most people on a couple of these movies. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be too all over the place, but there's some in particular that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get shit for. If anybody watches this, you know what? If you're watching this, give me shit. I just want to know that you're there. Jesus Christ. It sounded so fucking pathetic. It is, once again, the time of year. I wish I could think of something else. I feel like I always just say spooky season, but it's funny. It's alliterative. Whatever. It's spooky season. As I do every year, I'm watching some horror movies. I know I'm different. Nobody else does that except for me. One thing I started doing a few years ago was I choose a horror franchise and I watch every entry. There's almost nearly every horror franchise I have seen very little of, any like the main ones, except this one. This was an exception. I had seen basically everything except like the newest entries. This one I did start early because of Alien Romulus coming out in August, and I'd kind of had these two grouped together in my head anyways to do eventually, so I figured, that's coming out, it gives me an early start, why not? Joining me today, I have my own personal Jonesy. His name is Jonesy, but he's my like, there's a cat named Jonesy in Alien, if you've seen it. We'll get to it. His brother Mac is in here too, but he's not named after the Predator character, although I literally just did a few minutes ago yell at him like this. Mac! When he's doing stupid shit. If you are so inclined or interested, as I usually do, I have this list also available in written form over on Letterboxd. I'll have it linked so you'll be able to get right to it. But there's my profile. Here's the list right there. I'm not going to go to it because it does have, the details and all that stuff. We'll keep it vague. Although there's a little bit of a spoiler, I guess. Use that reference if you want. Oh shit, there's a spoiler too. I didn't even fucking think about that until just now. Well, I'm going to be using my list as reference for me because I actually don't have the order or anything written down anywhere else. So with all that out of the way, let's get started. Number 14. This one's not a wild opinion, I don't think. The bottom of the list for me is The Predator from 2018. A real bummer because prior to this, Shane Black was on a roll for me. I absolutely adore The Nice Guys, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and even his Iron Man 3 is one of my favorite MCU movies because it feels like a Shane Black movie. It feels just like those other two, and I mean this had the potential, hearing that, like him doing a Predator movie like that could have been cool, and I see where the attempt was made, but my God, the writing is awful in this movie. The characters fucking suck. The humor is there. There's a couple jokes here and there that are funny. I like the part where he's trying to catch Olivia Munn as she's like jumping off the bus, but then she's like taking too long, and then he walks away and she just falls. Like that's good. That's classic, like physical comedy, good stuff.
Hey, going up there. Come on, I got you. Hey, I got you, lady. Okay. Let's go. Hey, come on. Sorry.
But most of the time, it's cringe. It's major cringe. I especially. Oh yeah. Speaking of cringe, I especially hate Traeger, I think is his name. The bad human guy, chewing the gum all the time and being like, fuck yeah, oh yeah, this is fucking badass, dude. I mean, he's a bad guy, so maybe he's supposed to be kind of like hateable in that way, but it's like, it's a bad hate. It's like a really annoyed, cringy hate. Really amateur bullshit. And yeah, action is lame. The way that all the guys die at the end is really rushed and lame, and then the reveal at the end of the Predator killer armor is really dumb and just such a whimper. Number 13 is Predators, the one before that from 2010, and it is next. But I will say this is like a step up. Like The Predator, I would say, is the only movie that I actively dislike, which is amazing. Like if you see my other franchise watches, it's usually different. There's usually a lot more before we get to like Predators is mid. It's forgettable, which some people say is worse than being bad, but not in this case. It's not that forgettable. It still has like a good cast of characters. It's fun to watch. Lawrence Fishburne comes in and hams it up, and he's great, but then he's wasted like 10 minutes later. He's barely in the movie, but he was fun when he's there.
You live here?
Oh, no. No. This is my summer home. I winter in the Riviera. The schools are so much nicer there. And the men, ooh la la.
I guess them being on an alien planet seemed a little wasted to me. A cool idea, but then like what makes it an alien planet? The trees, like the flora and fauna is all just like here. The only like alien animals that you see are the ones that the predators themselves bring. I think they're little like hunting dog things. Like, why not just drop them in the middle of the Amazon in some remote place? Whatever. I'm okay with like the introduction of like the multiple factions. I'm sure that this stuff, I know that there's like comics and stuff. I don't care about that. Okay movie. It's fine, I guess. I don't really need to watch it again, but I also wouldn't like hate watching it again. Kind of in that same vein is the next one, number 12, Prometheus. I remember like really liking this movie when it came out. It's definitely one of those like post Lost Damon Lindelof mystery box type scripts where they got all these questions and not a lot of answers, which I'm okay with, really. I think like you get enough answered that's needed, so that's not like a huge complaint. It's more just like what you do get is just, again, like Predator's just kind of forgettable. There's some cool sequences. There's some the C-section bit is really cool. Michael Fassbender as David is great. I think most people who watch this agree that he's like the best part of him.
Why do you think your people made me?
We made you because we could.
Can you imagine how disappointing it would be for you to hear the same thing from your creator?
I also like Noomi Rapace. I wish she kind of had more of a career over here post Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but I think this is probably like the only one where she really, like, a big movie where she got to star in. And then just like, yeah, man, the characters are so dumb. They're so dumb in this movie. And that kind of takes you out of it. It's got some interesting bits, but my biggest feeling coming away from it was just forgettable, I suppose. So you got Prometheus. How do you make it a little more memorable but still not good? You ramp up the craziness, and you get Alien Covenant, which is number 11. So how I kind of related it to Prometheus is that like they both kind of end up pretty close to one another, but why I put this one above is because it is more memorable because where Prometheus is kind of consistently like mid in terms of like entertainment and engagement and all that, Covenant is like up and down. It has some like way higher highs, some way like Mac, you got your hair tie. He's got his hair tie. And he likes to tell everybody that he's got his hair tie. Higher highs and lower lows. Like Prometheus, I referenced the C-section scene. That's the highest high, I would say. This has like more of that, but it's like wacky. And then the like you take like the complaints about the characters being dumb in Prometheus is he's still got his hair tie, like amplified tenfold in this. Like they just freely walk onto this planet because it has a habitable atmosphere, so we're not going to take any precautions against unknown extraterrestrial like diseases. This android that is being very threatening and ominous. Yeah, sure, I'll follow you into this place and look into this weird egg thing. Sure, yeah, why not? Sounds cool. But then like when it comes time to kill the xenomorphs, the main character just like, yeah, I know exactly how these guys work. I've seen the other movies. And then you get David doing the fingering. It's great too. So there's lots to love in this one.
Watch me. I'll do the fingering.
Number 10, back to the Predator franchise with Predator 2, which I liked a lot more than I thought I remembered. I thought this was going to be another just slog to in the range of like boring slog to forgettable, but it was a little bit better. It had its cool moments. Again, I like the cast of characters. This is the second one, but something I should have mentioned back when I was like talking about like the last few, Alien Covenant, Predators. Something that like differentiates both of these from a lot of other horror franchises is that however far deep into the franchise you go, you're still pulling basically like A-list casts for most of the movies. Yeah, in this you got Danny Glover. I feel like probably at the top of his fucking game at this point. Gary Busey, Bill Paxton, also in the second Alien movie. Did you think of that? Probably. Yeah, it's pretty probably. It's cool to see it like try to do something so different from the first so readily. It's not like the fourth or fifth entry and the first three were all in the jungle or whatever. It's like they're a jungle, a concrete jungle. I gotta stop using that joke where I act like I'm like the only person to think of something. I guess I'm doing it. I've done it like 3 times already. That's it. I'm cutting myself off. A lot of the cast does just feel like they're just kind of sitting around until it's their turn to die. Bill Paxton, I think, is maybe the most having the most fun with his role. So yeah, not bad. Number 9, next up, is Alien Resurrection. I think this movie is a ton of fun, and maybe why movies like this are hated more than they deserve. Maybe not. I'm not saying it's not a perfect movie. It is really messy. I'm not saying this is the only reason you can hate this movie, but I'm just kind of using this as an example for like the greater thing of why I think I enjoy certain movies and franchises more than a lot of people. I differentiate these movies in my head. They're not like, there's no character assassination or there's no like ruining of the lore. I could see people saying that with this one because it does a lot of weird shit.
You are a beautiful butterfly.
Something else I really like about this one that I would say is only for the sequels is only also accomplished in Aliens, which is have like actual interesting lore that I like and isn't dumb bullshit. Like again, the prequel stuff, the experimenting they're doing, like when Ripley finds like her failed clones, like there's some surprisingly effective scenes in this otherwise like very strange and not super great movie. And then also surprisingly effective, and another thing I like is the newborn. Then when it dies and He's got that sad look on his face, and Sigourney Weaver's like, oh my god. Sigourney Weaver. Oh my god. I can't believe I just fucking said that. Anyways, we're talking about it's dying and she's crying and stuff, and it kind of got me. I didn't like cry, or I don't even think I like teared up, but it got me, kind of got me. It kind of got me. It seemed more like a scared baby that was killing things for that reason. And it was really sad. Okay. This is where the pitchforks and torches are going to come out. Number 8 is aliens. I know the common debate in this franchise is Alien or Aliens the best one. I do not understand that. This one is a very mid 80s action movie to me. I hate this. I really hate this. I don't like being a contrarian, except when I'm right. Now that doesn't make sense because I am right, because I'm correct here, and I don't but I don't like it. I don't like shitting on stuff that people like, but here we are. I think most of this movie is really boring and forgettable, like to the sense that like I do think this was the most that I enjoyed it, and yet I still don't remember the bulk of this fucking movie. What puts it this high and not down with the more forgettable, just generic forgettable ones like Prometheus and such, is the final act. I think the final act is really solid, really carries a lot of like my goodwill for the movie. Get away from her, you bitch. Fucking rules. That scene is great. I really like the crazy big scale production that James Cameron's known for nowadays. I like Bishop, and I guess Paul Reiser's kind of fun, but I hate dumb like hoorah military or like marine characters like this. I'm gonna sound like such a fucking hypocrite when we get to Predator talking about this shit. Also, I don't care about Newt. I don't care. I get that like Sigourney. God, I'm gonna Ripley Wiener does stuff with like she lost her daughter or whatever. I get that for her character, but I don't care. So that kind of takes a lot out of the movie for me too. I think. I think I would be much more interested if she just took Jonesy down to the planet with her at the beginning and then had to chase him around the whole time instead. That would be a way better movie in my opinion.
And you little shithead, you're staying here.
If you've been paying attention, you'll notice that we just talked about Aliens, one of the most beloved movies in this franchise, and I have not gotten to either Alien versus Predator movies. Yeah, but now I am. Number 7 is AVP, Alien versus Predator, the first one. New location for both of them, Antarctica. I'm fascinated by exploring like in person, lesser traversed areas of the planet. Antarctica's always been a pretty interesting place to me. So anything set there, no matter how put on a soundstage and fake it is, and like underground pyramids, I still that's still like instantly kind of like, oh yeah, cool, neat. It does some weird shit with the lore for both predators and xenomorphs, but I mean, I'll give it's better than Prometheus and Covenant. I'll take it over that. It just messes with like some of the pre-established stuff, but whatever. I've already said that like it doesn't matter to me too much. I can kind of like question it, but you especially with horror franchises, you can't expect too much on that front. Was there a human civilization in Antarctica in ancient times that built this pyramid? That's the part that I don't get the most. There's a human predator team up in this one, and it's cool. I really like that. I like just that whole thing where they team up and they fight the alien queen. So I feel like they do the equivalent of an airlock kill if you're on Antarctica, not in outer space, where they tie her to the chain and like drag her down to the bottom of the ocean. That kind of feels sort of like an equivalent. I think that's it. Visual effects were good. The action was fun. You know, you got some aliens fighting predators. What else do you want? I go so easy on these crossover movies. I think I turn into like a little baby when you get to those. I'm so forgiving. To be fucking fair, I am very forgiving of a lot of these movies. A lot of these movies kind of suck shit. What am I doing? What am I doing? Number 6 is Alien 3. I watched the assembly cut, which I'd heard is like vastly superior, and I would agree. It definitely brought this up quite a few spaces because this was definitely in that mid forgettable tier before, and now it's in that like disappointing because missed potential tier. That's where it's at, because I was really feeling so much more like, oh, this is so close to being like really good, but it still is messy. I don't know, it just, everybody gets fleshed out in better ways that makes them more well-rounded, to where I think this is my favorite group of characters in the Alien franchise. The whole setting of where they're at and like why they're there and who these guys are is just inherently just a lot more interesting. I love Charles Dance in this. I love his performance, and his character is great.
Are you?
What?
All right.
Why?
Just curious.
No.
What brings it down for me the most is honestly, I think, the xenomorph stuff. Anytime there's like CG, it looks fucking terrible. It looks so bad. Anytime they do the practical, it looks fine. It still looks okay. Just stick with that. The CGI is so bad. And then the whole sequence where they're like running through the tunnels and closing the doors to try to trap it. That's interesting in concept, but it's goes on for a while, and all the tunnels look the same, and like it's shot really kind of in like a rushed weird way, or like cut together really choppily. So it feels like you're just seeing the same tunnel over and over again. It's really hard to follow. It's kind of fucked when you think that like she's basically just like alien, go to sleep, wake up, alien, go to sleep, wake up, alien. Like it's basically been, to her, it's only been what, like a couple weeks since she was on the Nostromo, maybe, if that, really, maybe like a week, which is just crazy to think of. And then she dies. So for her, it's like she never really escaped. She was just kind of like biding time until it eventually, like killed her off. Which is kind of fucked when you think about it, but still an okay ending, you know. Next on the list, number 5, we're in the top 5 now, is Prey, the most recent Predator movie. The premise alone is just so, it just sounds so cool. Like if you're into like the Predator movies, love the atmosphere, love the the look and everything. It's really, there's a lot of cool shots. The Predator franchise in general has some cool cinematography, and there's at least like a shot in basically every movie, even like Predators. I think the Predator is the only one I can't think of one. But this one has a lot of cool ones. I love the shot where they're like running through the tall grass and you see the invisible Predator like running up behind them. The action rocks in this. It's the best action in this series. Watching the Predator like work its way kind of up the food chain is really fun. But it had some discrepancies with that, where like, why would it find the humans to be the best, unless the only thing I could think of is that it like recognizes our intelligence as a survival and like a survival factor. Maybe I that's not entirely unbelievable, but that thought had occurred to me. And then honestly, probably my least favorite like sounding and I guess looking Predator. I like his mask. Like the mask is cool, but like it doesn't look great. It's all CG, which is a bummer. I think prior to this, they at least had like a decent amount of practical effects, like suit work. But this, I'm pretty sure, was like all CG, which is a bummer. And then like its clicks, its mouth clicks, the breathing, whatever that is, didn't sound as good. It didn't sound as like satisfying as it normally does. Nitpicks, whatever. Moving on. Number 4 is the newest entry in the Alien franchise, Alien Romulus. A very frustrating viewing experience because, man, if it wasn't for a couple elements, I would be like singing this movie's praises, because I really liked basically everything except some of the worst fucking nostalgia bait callback shit. But even there, it's just 2 elements, and one of them is a major one. It's not like it's one moment. It is the Ian Holm deepfake. Like that is fucked for a multitude of reasons. Not only is it like insulting to the actor, but it looks bad. It looks fucking terrible. It like every time he talks it's really bad. And then he's in it for so much and it sucks. Then the other one is just more specifically a moment. It's the "get away from her, you bitch." It's dumb. Why did he say that? Why did he say it? Why would he say that? Man, and this is why, like, this is the hardest one for me to place and rate in general on the list, because other than that, I loved this movie. I like so much of what they were doing. I love the look of it. Rain and Andy, sorry, not David. Those characters and their relationship, I loved. The guy that played Andy did great. I love like how he's like switching like personalities when he gets the chip or whatever. Really good tension building moments. I love the scene where the chest burster comes out and then the ship like crashes. It's like going around the thing crashing. You see like the lights through the windows and like the hallway. I love this stuff at the end with the weird a kind of a Alien Resurrection. Maybe that was a reference to that or whatever, with the weird like human baby hybrid thingy. But honestly, like every time I think about those negatives. Oh, also they fucking referenced the black goo from fucking Prometheus. Yeah. God damn it, I'm doing it. Rewrite. I'm gonna put it at number 7. So it's above Aliens, and now it's below AVP, Alien 3, and Prey. Those all got moved up one. This is what I mean. This is a perfect example of like why this movie is so frustrating, because God, there's so much that I like about it. But then and I feel like it's so much smarter than the more recent Alien movies like Covenant and Prometheus. But then you get to the Ian Holm stuff, or the dumb references, or the fucking black goo from Prometheus. So I can't even do what I was talking about, how I can compartmentalize these and separate them from the dumb lore. It's like, no, it's in this. You gotta accept it. So I can't even do that. And that see that fucking tipped me over the edge. So now, yeah, it's down lower. I feel like that's where it's got to sit now, because all those other movies I just have more just kind of general like positive feelings to. I'm not like mixed. I don't feel like betrayed or whatever. Everything below it is like, you know, it's definitely it's still, I don't know. But at the same time, God, you could fucking I could put it at the bottom of the list because of that too. But I can't completely negate all of the stuff that I did like about it, because I did like most everything else. Okay. Done with that. From number 7 to number 3 now. But this is the other one that I feel like is just maybe about as controversial as me putting Aliens so low, is me putting this one so high. You probably know what I'm talking about at this point. Is Aliens vs. Predator Requiem. This movie is despised. It has abysmal ratings, like, no matter where you look. I like plenty of movies that don't have like great ratings, but I can't think of another movie that has this much like universally terrible ratings that I like this much. Hey, note to everybody, note to myself, enjoy what you enjoy. But it's interesting to have the context for stuff, and generally if something is reviewed this badly, I can be pretty sure that I won't like it. But I don't get it with this movie. I think it's so much fucking fun. One thing that I like about this movie is how much it fucking hates humanity. It does a good job of kind of depicting how kind of helpless and like worthless we are amongst this conflict, and it treats everybody with the same uncaring eye. This movie doesn't give a fucking shit. It's gonna do that. It's gonna show. So they don't show the alien killing all the newborns in the newborn ward, but it gets implied. And then there's like the pregnant mothers, people getting like the acid dripped on them. I think like right on his face. And then the girl, the like love interest for the teenager, her getting like ragdolled against the wall. Like, it's so brutal. Small town in Colorado. It's kind of fun. It's like normal people. It might be the only one in both franchises that has like normal modern people in it, not like scientists or Marines or like crew people. They're just kind of people, and it's different. I love the Predator in this is cool. His kind of like investigation that he's doing on his own, tracking the xenomorph and then like erasing all the evidence behind him, and of course killing people too. AVPR, unjustly hated. I don't know. I totally can't fault somebody for not liking this movie, but I do think it's weird how hated this movie is by seemingly everybody. It's not. The characters and the writing is not the best, for sure. But it's got I don't know, it's got what I came for. So I'm happy. I'm happy with it. And now we get to the not controversial stuff, I guess. My top two is very bog standard for something like this. So number 2 is Predator, the original one. I really like that this one basically changes genres in the last act, where it turns from like big dumb 80s action movie to like horror slasher movie. It's cool. It's a cool structure, especially when it's Arnold Schwarzenegger as the main character, who starts with like, the famous scene with Carl Weathers, showing how muscly and tough they are. Jesse Ventura's dialogue.
Bunch of slack-jawed around here. This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus, just like me.
And then by the end of it turns him into Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. Like he's a child up against 2 adult criminals. Like, that's the equivalent of like, how do you make Arnold Schwarzenegger seem like a scared little kid? It's, you pit him against like the galaxy's best hunter or whatever. And then the beginning is fun, just where you get it's that opposite end. This is that dumb that I was hinting at when I was talking about Aliens, but I don't know, it feels different. It feels way more like I said, like tongue-in-cheek, corny cornball, but it knows it. The invisibility stuff looks terrible in this, I will say that. In this and Predator 2, and then like there's a shot or two where I think the Predator is invisible, and then he like takes off the cloak, but it's like clearly like pasted on, like it's like a layered over the the actual shot, and it looks really bad. So some of the visual stuff in that front is bad, but otherwise, you know, the Predator costume looks great. Great concept, cool, original idea, fun movie. So that means that number 1 is Alien, the original. This is like miles above anything else on this list. This has long been a favorite of mine. It's probably top 3 or top 5 for like horror movies. And then it's somewhere in my favorite movies of all time lists, somewhere in there. So I mean, this was always like no contest. This was gonna be here. Not as much depth as the characters in 3, but I do like the crew of the Nostromo. I like all the actors and the performances and stuff. The design of the xenomorphs, so just like everything, the LV-426, the Nostromo, everything is so expertly crafted. You get like multiple just long shots of the hallways in the Nostromo, and I could just watch that for like an hour. It's so like soothing and yet disquieting, and so effective with like the visual aesthetic of everything being like a dick and a pussy. That like, even knowing that, it's still so incredibly effective. And just, it makes everything about the process, it's icky. It makes you feel icky. That's maybe like the coolest thing about it, is just that overall, like, the design is just fucking like impeccable. Pacing of everything is great. You get your time to like hang out with everybody before the shit hits the fan, and then when it does, it's just kind of exponentially like worse and worse. I don't know, everything's great. Everything's great about this movie. It's fucking awesome. I feel like I do this a lot with like my top ones. I think I did this with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which was my favorite one for that one, the original one. There's a lot that have that title in that franchise, where I just kind of go like, I like it. I like everything. It's great. It's a good movie. I like the stuff that's in it, because that's kind of how I feel. And also, I feel like you've heard a million people talk about how great this movie is. I don't like, what can I add to it? Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. It's not even like fair to kind of even like put it on the same list as the rest of these in my eyes, because it's great. So yeah, there we are. There's a list. Yeah, I think overall this is probably like the best franchise, actually. Again, all my complaints and everything, like, I think it fares a lot better than a lot of these franchises. I don't know, I'm flipping through my other ones, like, God, there's some rough ones. Hellraiser was really bad. But they're all fun. That's why I love doing this. Like, as bad as they are, they're also very fun. I have so much fun learning the lore and history of these various franchises and all that. I also have, maybe I'll have them at the end of this video or whatever, more franchise dives into Texas Chainsaw and Saw. I've done videos on, so you can check those out if you want to see more franchise ranking dive things. This channel is mostly for a podcast where we talk about movies. We talk about a movie every episode. And for the month of October, we do horror movies exclusively. So again, if you're just into horror movies in general, we'll check that out. Or movies in general, you can check out it also outside of October. What's your favorite Alien Predator movie? Which ones did I nail? Which ones did I completely miss? I have an idea for some of them. Anyways, yeah, if you made it to the end, thank you a bunch for sticking around, watching this, hearing my terrible opinions. I really do appreciate it. I know I sound sarcastic and kind of a lot of the time, but yeah, it's really cool if you actually watch this. I felt like I should bring him back for the sign off, because he did hop off a while ago. So here he is. He's very happy to be here. Oh my god. I guess he's doing okay. I guess he's vibing. He's vibing now. He's doing good, right, Jones? Right, Jones? He's doing good. We're doing great.